So the church was built in 1959 as a Presbyterian church on this new estate, new housing estate, and the money came partly from the Steel Company of Wales, but also from the Welsh Presbytery in Liverpool. And so this church had a minister for 2 years and then a new minister for all of his career, which was the Reverend Bill Steed. And he was the minister here, and the church built up a really good reputation, and lots of people moved on to other churches. There was never a split or any sort of problem, and so that's made it easier for my ministry here now, that there's no historical problems or anything to resolve. So yeah, it closed for 9 months when Bill Steed couldn't carry on anymore, but apart from that short closure, it's remained a church all of its days. And the presbytery, Bill said that he couldn't carry on, and the presbytery didn't have anyone to put here, and so the building had to close for a time, but they didn't really want to sell it because it's in such a good position on the estate geographically, with 19,000 people on the estate, 4,000 homes. So with only 4 churches on the estate, it was one that really needed to stay open, and so they thought about what could be done with it, and then they made a position as a mission worker, and thankfully it was good timing for when I finished my studies, and it enabled me to apply for that.
A typical Sunday service for myself is coming in, getting welcomed, because I've been here from the start. Sandfields boy, born and bred. Just coming into the church, and just as soon as you come through them doors, just feeling the love straight away. Coming through them doors, having a quick cuppa, seeing all the people welcome each other, give each other big hugs and shake hands with the men, and because I've seen it from the start, seeing it from an handful of people to where we are today, 30, 40 people on a Sunday. And my role coming in, because I love worship, I love singing to the Lord, and so they'll come in, and Tim will open up in prayer, and then we'll go straight into song, so me and my wife will dance at the back, and I will get the worship flags out and wave them, and I'll sing at the top of my voice, with these worship songs. And then, we'll have our reading, and then more singing, and then we have a meal together, and that's what's important, eating and having fellowship together. So as people are sharing their stories, sharing what's going on through the week, and Tina, does a lovely meal every Sunday, something different every Sunday, and we get the tables out, we'll all sit around and talk about what we're doing in the week. And like 2 weeks ago, at the end of the summer, we had our meeting in church, and then we all brought something of our own, a picnic, and we went down the beach. And we had a few hours down the beach and fellowshipping, and just that's what it's about. It's a church family here, and what I like about this church is they're here for the community. The logo on the front of the church, Sandfields for the estate. It's not just a logo. You can see it because they've got a counsellor in. 40 years experience. She've helped myself going through grief with my own son and family members, which it was terrible, and she've helped me through that. She's helping people I know on the estate, and which is so needed, Gwyn, because it's the second largest council estate in Britain, and the oppression and the addiction is second to none down here. And we need help, we need prayer, and this is like a light in this community. It's a beacon in this community, and the doors are open, there's always someone here. if they're not out helping, you know, there's help in you. Just come in and ask. That's all you got to do, is just open your mouth and ask. And the help and support and the love is here. And that's where I felt it. And, you know, there's men's breakfast we started. And that was once a month, you know, and we'd put it on and we'd have someone coming in, giving a testimony. But a free, full English breakfast, you know, just come and enjoy and listen. And just, you know, and I've seen it grow from 4 or 5 now to the last one we had. I think it was 37, 38 boys, you know.
Since we came here, they were doing Sunday lunches, they all eat together after church. And I found it was an area that I could get involved in from the beginning. So yes, and there's a small rota at the moment, so anybody can take part. But we bake, I try to bake on a Saturday evening, like a lasagna or a shepherd's pie, something that's easier to do at home, bring in so you can just warm it up through the service. And we all eat together. It's roughly 20 to up to 30 people on a Sunday, and it's an amazing time for fellowship with each other.
Oof, such rain. So I've just been to cut one of the ladies' hair, the Syrian ladies, and I used to be a hairdresser before, so I still do a bit of hairdressing, but because they wear hijabs, they can't go into salons and have their hair done. So I go to their homes and we have a lovely time of, you know, chatting and coffee, and it's just a really nice way of having that closeness in people's homes. They feel safe, and it's a lovely time of just friendship together, really. So I really enjoy that part of what you know, God has called me to do here now. Tim is a mission worker here, and the ministries department employ me as a family and children's worker. So part of my role is working with people locally. And that includes working with Syrian families and with local families. When we first came, just before we arrived actually, I really sensed that God was saying to me, and the verse in Romans 12 verse 9 says, don't just pretend to love them, but really love them. And I didn't really understand what that meant apart from it being clear, really. But when I arrived, I realised that God had put us here to make relationships with people. And one of those significant relationships were meeting Syrian refugees who had come probably about 6 months before we arrived. And as Tim was clearing some stuff out from here, formerly Fitzclarence, he put all furniture out the front there. And some of the Syrian children came along, and they were only like 4 and 6 years old. And they came up to the window, knocked the window and said to Tim, how much for these? And Tim said, they're going out for the rubbish, they're no good. And they said, can we have them? And Tim said, yes, where do you live? Oh, my brothers will come. So these boys came, 10 and 12. So Tim helped them carry the furniture 2 streets away. And then the mum came and we spoke. She was a widow with 4 children. And we just developed a friendship. I went to her house and had coffee, and hardly any English, no verbal communication. It was all hand signals and sign language as best we could, really. And then she introduced me to another 3 Syrian families who lived on the estate. And the development in our relationship has been incredible. They know that I love them. And that verse really has impacted me tremendously here on the estate, because I'd never done this kind of work or never had relationships like I do today with people, and it's incredible what God is doing here, and I'm so thankful to have met them.
Yes, I've been working here now for 2 years, been involved with PCW itself for 3 years at least. And I've been doing this kind of ministry, this kind of video games youth ministry now for about 5 years, since 2014. And the way it got started really was myself and Timothy Hodgins, we wanted to connect with the youth of today. What we do here in this church at the moment is we'll have, every 2 weeks we'll have a special night, afternoon should I say, sorry, from about 12 to about 5 sometimes, 5 hours. And the guys would stay forever if we let them. And then we have about 5 hours, and then we invite them in. We have free food here. We have the table tennis as well, because it's always good. One thing we found out, a lot of trial and error, it's always good to provide an alternative where people can come away and just say, right, you know, I've been playing games for an hour or so, let me chill out. Let me take a break and get involved with some table tennis, which is always fun to do. So they'll come. We'll also set up some tournaments. So one of the things we like to do, for example, a good one is Mario Kart. We'll have all these TVs and consoles linked together, and then 12 players will play in one big race. And it gets people. People, whenever they come for the first time, they say they've never seen anything like it. You know, they've never seen anything like it, where you have everybody playing together in the same race. You have people cheering on. There are winners and there are losers, but there's always a good atmosphere. It's like, okay, yes, you bested me, or oh, I got to do better next time. And then after that, we usually break for a quote-unquote God slot. And during that time, either myself or perhaps Tim or even guests will do some kind of engaging talk prefaced by an activity or some sort of game that involves active participation. And then we allow for people to feedback and talk and share what they think. And sometimes people, they like to keep mum, but very often you'll get people say, well, this is my opinion on this.
Okay, well, I enjoy going into schools to help with the work there. We were recently invited on the last but one day of the school term before the summer to do a school assembly, which we did. I did a Bible memory verse for the children. We did the story of the Saul on the road to Damascus. We did various songs with lots of movements, which was great because some of the children knew the songs already. Then at the end, we invited them to our family fun day and our street missions, Word on the Street, which started 2 days later after school had broken up. And what we did there, we went to various cul-de-sacs on the estate here, where children congregate normally to play in a safe area. We set up a stall for about an hour and a half. We did crafts, games with them. We had sing-songs. We did a Bible story and a memory verse. And then at the end, they were invited to the family fun day. We did over 4 different areas on the estate, and it went really, really well. It was really good fun, especially for me, because I've never done children's work before, but I did really enjoy it. Then on the Saturday, we had a family fun day here at the church, and we had between 175 and 200 people showed up. And what was really nice, the children were coming up to you saying, oh, I remember you from school, or you were in our street the other day. And I said, yeah, it was great. And it was a really, really nice day. And then on the Sunday, we had a family service where we had a gospel choir here from Swansea. And we had a few people on that day from the estate that had been on the missions. And it just went really well. It was a great week, a great chance to get out onto the estate and show them who we were, to share the love of Jesus, and to invite them, if they wanted to come again, to please come and join us again.
The initials of the church are SPC, and we use those initials to say that we're Sandfields Presbyterian Church, but we are here to show people Christ. And so our vision really is to show people Christ in the work that we do, whatever it is, whether it's mission or outreach or charity or gospel preaching services or testimony nights. And friendship, we always want to show people Christ in what we do. And the other aspect of that then is that We want to be on the estate, for the estate,